Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Keely Arthur. Tonight we're learning more about the NC State student and how other students raised concerns about the I-40 shooting suspect's mental health as recent as last year. WRAL's Carly Haynes talked to former classmates about the 23-year-old Andrew Graney. And Carly, you're learning a lot of new information about who exactly this person is.
Keely, they tell me they noticed a change in his behavior, so they reported it to Campus Prevention Services, and this was right around the time mental health was top of mind for state students. When a mugshot went up of the I-40 shooting suspect, classmates were shocked it was the same person they once knew.
I would have never guessed that there would have been something else going on because he just seemed like maybe, if not shy, just a little quiet. There's a lot of folks like that. A former student who prefers going by Kevin saw Andrew Graney frequently at a friend's movie nights. Kevin recalls early last year when Graney sent concerning messages in a group chat, signaling a decline in his mental health. Anything that might have indicated violence or that he was thinking about violence, nothing like that? No, absolutely not. And if there was anything, I think it would have been out of our concern for Andrew's health, not involvement of other people's health and well-being. That's why Kevin submitted an NC State Cares report requesting the school do a welfare check. Kevin doesn't know what happened from there. The last time he saw Graney was earlier this summer. I don't know what drives someone to do this. I hope that he gets the kind of help that he needs and that everyone affected comes out all right. And we did reach out to NC State Prevention Services asking them if they had received any additional reports and how they decide whether to bring in more authorities. Carly Haynes, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Gosh, such a serious situation. Carly, thank you. Well, we have quite a chilly night ahead of us, believe it or not. We could see some rain even this holiday weekend. Here to track it all, meteorologist Anthony Baglione in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. And Anthony, we could even see showers as early as maybe tomorrow?
We could potentially, Keely. I do think, though, thankfully for our Sunday plans, the majority of the day we're going to see a lot of dry time. But I want to get right over to satellite and radar talk about this next system. Here is where it currently sits. So it's this front back to our west. It is bringing a lot of moisture across Tennessee, even down into the deep south. And that will be knocking on our doorstep as we get into probably Sunday evening and then for the first part of Veterans Day. Here's Futurecast, though. This is the latest modeling coming in. I think it's doing a good job of showing that aside from the cloud cover, it's locked onto a lot of clouds tomorrow morning. I think we should see a nice mix of sun and clouds to start. They will fill in, though, as we go through the afternoon. Notice we're still dry, but then 6 o'clock tomorrow evening, this time tomorrow night, we could see some rain starting to push in, and it continues kind of off and on for us tomorrow night. There's Monday morning at 2 a.m., and then by 7 a.m. Monday morning, it starts to push on out. There could be a lingering shower or two, but lunchtime, Keely, looking a whole lot better on our Veterans Day. We're going to walk through, though, the holiday forecast more specifically coming up in detail here in just a few minutes.
Durham police are investigating a man's death tonight. Now, shortly before 10 a.m., officers responded to a call on Bry Street. Police found a man's body at the scene, and investigators really don't know yet how he died. They are asking anyone with information to call the police. Emergency responders had to rescue a person after a crash on Western Boulevard. This was the scene just before 8 a.m. when the WRAL breaking news tracker arrived. Raleigh police tell us the driver veered off the road just past South Bowen Avenue and hit a tree. Responders were able to get the person out of the vehicle and they were taken to a local hospital. Police have not released the name and there's no word on that driver's condition. A registered sex offender was arrested for being on the premises of a school in Durham. 46-year-old Troy Langford is accused of being on the school's property on October 3rd. He was arrested by the Wake County Sheriff's Office at his home in Wendell today. Now, Langford registered as a sex offender in 1999 for committing a crime in Florida. The North Carolina School of Science and Mathematics said Langford arrived on campus as a construction subcontractor. His ID ID was scanned as part of the standard visitor procedure check-in. It was flagged as someone who really shouldn't be on the campus. A spokesperson said in part, "We require him to leave the campus immediately," and reported the incident to the police, who investigated. This incident occurred while students were away from campus on fall break. And get this, a federal emergency management agency worker was fired after the agency's leader said she directed workers to not help hurricane survivors who supported President-elect Donald Trump. The agency did not identify the employee, nor did it say when this happened. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said it actually happened in Florida and was, quote, a targeted discrimination of Florida residents who support Trump. FEMA administrators say they will do everything they can to make sure something like this never happens again. More than 100,000 cubic yards, look at that, of debris have been collected from Buncombe County in the aftermath of Helene. That's enough to fill more than 4.5 football fields with debris piled up to the goalpost. 2,690 truckloads worth of storm debris has been removed thus far from eastern portions of that county. Well, over in Moore County, dozens of volunteers came to turn these sheds into shelters. As WRAL's Eric Miller explains, the goal is to provide people in western North Carolina with some temporary housing, especially as winter starts to move in.
Saturday, the Moore County Fairgrounds smelled like barbecue and sounded like a sawmill as crews of volunteers turned this lumber into living spaces, one board at a time.
They're going to be living quarters for people that have lost their homes in western North Carolina.
Ryan Kennedy is with Squared Away Response, the group that organized this event. All day long, volunteers assembled these 10 by 16 foot insulated sheds and prepared to ship them out with generators and heaters.
The goal was to put at least 2 people in. It could fit a family of 4. It will be tight, but to get them out of tents and get them off the ground and out of the weather and keep them cool and dry.
The unique thing about this project is that we are building each component of these sheds. So the walls are being built, the flooring system and the roof, and we're building them so that they can be stacked on top of each other for transport.
Casey Burton, also with Squared Away, says more than 40 local businesses are involved in this project, backed by thousands of dollars in donations.
Just remember, they're our neighbors. They're in western North Carolina and they need us.
This is a personal cause for many helping out.
My feet today is in Moore County at the fairgrounds, but my heart at this moment is still in western North Carolina.
Crews are aiming to get 15 sheds ready for shipment today and to build as many as 50 total.
The guys here will put one of these together in a couple of hours.
Co-owner Michael Crumpler says Squared Away has been involved since the storm hit. First sending food and supplies, and now transitioning to shelter.
And stage 3 is going to be going up and helping rebuild and repair homes.
These temporary homes, he says, part of a permanent commitment to helping neighbors to the west. Eric Miller, WRAL News.
Now, there was also a barbecue plate sale today as part of that Raise the Roof fundraiser. The money raised supports those construction workers for those shelters. Well, switching over to Morrisville, that's where the town honored veterans during the Veterans Day celebration this morning. That happened at Indian Creek Trailhead on Town Hall Drive. The event celebrated veterans who live in Morrisville and those who work in the town. The Morrisville Veterans Memorial Foundation 5K walk took place immediately afterwards. And the Moore County Department of Veterans Services had a ceremony honoring veterans today as well. Drones, a helicopter, and other military devices were on display at the Veterans Memorial in Carthage. Some other Veterans Day events this weekend to know about. The North Carolina Veterans Day ceremony is at the state capitol grounds on Edenton Street Monday from 10 a.m. to noon. Part of Edenton Street between North Salisbury Street and North Wilmington Street will be closed from 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And tomorrow, the town of Knightdale will host a tribute event that will recognize military heroes. That's at 2 p.m. at the Knightdale Veterans Memorial Plaza on North 1st Avenue. Orange County invites the community to come together to honor veterans at the annual Veterans Day celebration Monday at 11 a.m. That's at the Orange County Veterans Memorial on Homestead Drive in Chapel Hill. NC State will host its annual Veterans Day Honor Run and Ceremony Monday at the Memorial Bell Tower. Now, the run starts at 6 a.m. It's followed by a 30-minute long ceremony beginning at 7. And next, there's a ceremony in Apex at 9 a.m. on Monday. It's at the Downtown Service Memorial on the corner of Saunders and North Salem Streets. If you want to sleep in, though, a little bit, this is the one for you. Garner's Veterans Day observance will start at 10:30 a.m. at the Aversboro Road Baptist Church. William Peace University will host Conversations with History at 7:30 p.m. on Monday at Leggett Theater. You can hear readings from people who lived during World War II. Well, UNC's Children's Hospital hosted a special event in Raleigh today, all to raise awareness about asthma management for kids and their parents. Coming up, why that disease is especially prevalent and concerning in our state. Also ahead, one of the biggest events in the Southeast for model train fans is back in Raleigh this weekend. We'll be right back.
A new photo into the WRAL Live Center shows a concerning banner that was hung and since taken down at the American Tobacco campus in Durham. Take a look. This sign right here promotes a site called patriotfront.us. The group is described by the Southern Poverty Law Center and Anti-Defamation League as a hate group. Now, we were sent these photos as well of some people that are believed to be involved in hanging the sign. There's one of the men there, and if we go to the next photos, there's two more on your screen. If you recognize them, as far as we know, they have not been apprehended just yet. You should call Durham Police if you know anything about them or the situation.
Have a tax question? Well, you can get it answered next week with Tax Pros on Call. 5 on Your Side is partnering with North Carolina Society of Enrolled Agents to answer your tax planning questions. Call in this Wednesday from 4 until 7 p.m. to speak directly to a federally licensed tax pro, absolutely free. In Raleigh this afternoon, kids got a double dose of fun and some facts thanks to UNC Children's Hospital. Doctors, nurses, and staff teamed up for the Asthma Fair. This free event included games, exhibits, and food. Organizers hope to raise awareness and connect parents with asthma management tips and treatment options. UNC doctors say asthma is a huge issue in North Carolina, especially this time of year.
In October is usually when we have the most asthma attacks landing kids in the hospital. We still have a considerable number of kids right now in the hospital with asthma attacks from respiratory viruses.
Dr. Michelle Hernandez says part of what makes asthma in North Carolina so bad is the state's extremely long allergy season. It wasn't the ending they wanted to see, but fans of the North Carolina Courage gathered at a popular Raleigh pub today for a big watch party. The Courage was playing Kansas City in the NWSL playoffs this afternoon, and this was the scene shortly after noon at the Carolina Al House. Unfortunately, the KC Current eliminated the Courage from the playoffs, beating them 1-0. WRAL's Pat Welter will have more on the game a little later in sports. And the young at heart gathered at the state fairgrounds today at the 40th annual Neuse River Valley Model Train Show. Just take a look at what was on display. The show featured train models of every size and make. This is the largest, longest running model train show of its kind in North Carolina and Virginia. The show continues through tomorrow. And here with the weather is WRAL meteorologist Anthony Baglione. And Anthony, it was beautiful today, but we might see some raindrops coming up.
Yeah, we really need the rain. It's been a long time here, Keely, since we've had kind of some significant rain coming through. And I would say this is probably going to be significant rain as far as later on tomorrow into early parts of Veterans Day. So let's talk about this. I know it's the holiday weekend. What this is going to be is a front that's well to our west right now. What's going on there is they have a lot of moisture that's kind of getting funneled up from what's also left of Rafael, a tropical storm, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes down in the Gulf. And so it's bringing all of this moisture up there, and it's leading to some high flooding concern down into parts of Louisiana. This purpley kind of pink you see right there, that is the same exact risk that we had in western North Carolina, where we saw the extreme flooding from Helene. Not saying that that's necessarily going to happen, but that risk they do not issue very often. So that's an unfortunate situation down there. We're not looking at any big time flooding concern, but let's talk about what we're expecting impact wise, rainfall wise. Here's a look at Futurecast. So I'm going to start us off tomorrow morning. We have some clouds around. I don't think it's going to be to this extent that Futurecast is showing. So probably partly cloudy to start us off. Yes, there may be just a sprinkle or two for our far northern counties, but the majority of us, let's say, starting off dry tomorrow morning. We go through the afternoon and lunchtime still looking pretty good, but the afternoon into the evening, I'll pause this at 6 o'clock. This is when we may start to see some scattered showers coming in. So this time tomorrow, kind of a majority of us, I would say. There may be some spots not dealing with it, but rounds of kind of off and on rain for us tomorrow evening. Then we get after midnight. This is 2 a.m. Monday morning. It may pick up a little bit, but the good thing with this system here, as far as the timing is concerned, there's 7 a.m. Monday morning, so it may still be a little bit soggy at that point, but it gets out of here pretty quickly. This is not going to be an all day long event on Monday, and I do think we will manage to salvage most of Veterans Day with some dry time. It's just that early morning period where it could be a little bit wet across the area. We head outside though this evening. It's a little bit cool, if not chilly, just depending on your comfort level. Beautiful day, right? But very fall-like for us. 56 there in Raleigh and Durham. We're at 52 currently in Roxborough. 61 is where we're sitting this evening in Clinton. So feeling very fall-like. It gets chilly tonight. The temperatures in the low 40s to the north, basically upper 40s and low 50s for everyone else. Kind of what we're used to for this time of the year. And then we get through tomorrow. It will be very similar temperature-wise. If you didn't mind today, you will not mind tomorrow. We're in the upper 60s tomorrow afternoon, right about actually where we should be for this time of the year. We go into Veterans Day itself, all in all looking decent. We start off with those rain chances. They slowly start to progress out of here, I should say actually rather quickly through the late morning. And then by the time we get to 4 o'clock, we're at 73, 67, and it should come with a lot more sunshine. I mentioned Rafael a second ago. Let's talk about this system. It is still a tropical storm, so it's weakened considerably. There's a lot of what we call wind shear that this is dealing with, and you can kind of see that it's blowing all of that convection, that thunderstorm activity, to the northeast of the center of that storm, and it helps to kind of tear things apart. And that's what's going to happen. It's going to push down toward Mexico as really just a much weaker storm over the next couple days. Here's what we're looking at, though. Temperatures tomorrow, 69, 75 on Monday. Once we get that rainfall out of here, Keely, looking like a beautiful stretch as we head into next week.
We love fall in North Carolina. Thanks so much, Anthony. And switching over to WRAL's Pat Welter. Pat, it is a huge day for football.
And it doesn't matter the records when it's a rivalry, right? That's what they say. Duke and NC State in the middle of a wild one right now. We'll get you updated next. And the Courage try to stop the NWSL's best scorer in the first round of the playoffs after the break. Davin Vann came back for a 5th year to make the college football playoff. Not the senior day he hoped for, but beating a rival wouldn't be a bad way to go out. NC State taking on Duke today, and the Duke defense held their own versus SMU and Miami and made an impact early. First Wolfpack possession, CJ Bailey sacked for a safety. 5-0 game when Malik Murphy goes deep to Jordan Moore. Man, he throws a good deep ball. Love the camera work. 12-0 Duke with a little Blue Devil head shimmy here. End of the half. Duke looking for more, up 12-6 when State just takes the momentum right out of their hands. Tamarcus Cooley steals the ball but runs out of gas at the 15. Let's get you a score update here. It's currently 26-12 Duke in the fourth quarter. Miami down 28-16 at Georgia Tech. 9 lives, would they have 10? 6 minutes to go. Cam Ward to Xavier Restrepo. It's a 5-point game. Ward gets it back with 2 minutes left. Tries to do too much here on second down. He fumbles. Georgia Tech with the upset, 28-23, and they're storming the field in Atlanta. Two of the original Triangle greats bowing to each other Thursday night. It's Phil Ford and the Skywalker himself, David Thompson. The UNC and NC State legends guest of honor at the Eastwake High School Alumni Scholarship Fundraiser. Both have ties to the school through former Eastwake coach and Wolfpack forward Phil Spence. It's a good cause, which makes rivals friends.
You know, we've known each other mostly all of our lives, you know, and You know, just because you went to different schools doesn't mean that you couldn't be friends. And even though he played at State and I played at Carolina, we remained friends all of our lives. And I got very close to the players at State my junior and senior year in high school because of being recruited by them.
You know, we're always good friends, and I thought he was going to come to NC State. We almost had him, but I think things worked out great for both of us.
All money raised goes to a scholarship fund. For more, check out EWHSAA.com. The Courage have come a long way under head coach Sean Nahas. They've rebuilt the team, restored the culture, and now they need to take the next step and get out of the first round of the playoffs. Courage at the KC Current, Kansas City with the league's best offense led by Temwa Shawinga. First shot for her won't go. Neither does the second or the third here, but a fourth. Yeah, and that's a NWSL record, 24th goal this season. So we go to the 33rd minute. Courage looking for the equalizer here, and Manaka appears to get it, but the ref rules goalkeeper had possession. Went to VAR, the call stands. Courage eliminated 1-0. So we'll hear from head coach Sean Nahas tonight at 10 and 11, Keely.
All right, Pat, thank you so much. And thank you for joining us. Have a great evening.